If you're looking to book more talks, this video is going to help you out. In other words, if you're looking to get into your community, now that things have settled down, the world has reopened, this is an opportunity for you to book outside talks to live audiences. And I'm going to give you some guidance here that I know will help you out. First of all, let me say this is probably the most popular portion of our Speak to Attract Believers workshop. So I teach docs how to do talks, how to close for growth. But within that, for about an hour, we go through this exercise. So I know this is super popular, but I also know this will work because it's been replicated and duplicated in other practices. What I'm talking about is if you want time at a meeting, you number one, and this is golden rule number one, you have to know the name of the meeting. Now this might sound simple, but if you are doing a talk, let's say at a school, you would ask to speak at the all staff meeting. Again, this sounds very elementary, but you have to know what the name of the meeting is that you want to speak at so that you can ask for time at that meeting. Now, having said that, if you're asking to speak, but you don't know what venue you would be speaking in, it's really easy for them to say, no, we don't have doctors come and talk. No, we don't have doctors come and address our students, our teachers, our staff, our families. And I'm also giving you examples of different places you could go and talk. But if it was a talk for teachers and you wanted to speak at a staff meeting, you would have to specifically say, I want to speak at the staff meeting. Now, if I were to shift gears a little bit and you want to do a talk at real estate, then what you would do is say, listen, I would like to speak at one of your sales meetings, because they get all the realtors together for sales meetings. Some businesses do it once a month. Some do it every week. They have a sales meeting every week. So you would need to know golden rule number one. What is the particular name of the meeting you want to go to? And although that sounds very basic, it is super important, because rule number two is you need to know who the person is that you would need to ask. So it's who before how in this situation. You would need to know who to ask. If I were to give you a third example, you wanted to do a corporate lunch and learn, a corporate talk. A lot of times chiropractors are reaching out specifically to HR directors. That's an overdone and overrun population. That wouldn't be who I would recommend. Who I would recommend for a corporation is the wellness coordinator. Now, I've been asked, did I make up that title? No. Again, you need to ask for a person that would be appropriate to give you time at a certain meeting, okay? If I were to go back to example 1 and 2, when it comes to school talks, you want to speak at the staff meeting. The person you would want to call is the principal, okay? If we were talking about the real estate talks and you want to go to a sales meeting, the person you would want to talk to is the branch manager. So each realtor office has a branch manager. And a lot of times this is a person that used to be a realtor, used to kill it, and now has a management license where they're paid a set fee and a percentages on top of the realtor. So they want to keep them motivated, keep them excited. They're always looking for different things. So what I'm giving you in this video, I hope you see, is gold. Now the third example would be a corporate lunch and learn. You would need to ask for the wellness coordinator, because oftentimes human resources is overdone. And that's the most common question I get from chiropractors. What do I say to HR? You don't. Not to HR. Now, to a wellness coordinator, I could tell you what to say there, but you don't call the HR, because there's no script or nothing I'm going to give you that's going to be an easy way in. You've actually picked the wrong person, and you've created an uphill battle for yourself. You can book talks through HR. You can get the right person in the right size company with the right attitude. It happens for sure. But go where there's gravity. A wellness coordinator is responsible for putting people into positions in front of their crowds. And now that things are opened up and people are back to a corporation live, this is what they need to do. A lot of human resources are still dealing with work from anywhere, work virtually, work from home scenarios, and hiring and firing and dealing with people that don't want to come back to work at all. So human resources is kind of overdone. A second person I would give you for corporate outreach would be the risk management. So wellness coordinator or the risk manager, both of those people are good. And then the last tip I'll give you, the third golden rule when it comes to booking talks, would be pick a topic that meets two separate criteria. So this is point number 3, but it's got to meet two separate criteria. Number 1, does it get you in? Is it a talk they want to hear about? And number 2, will the talk be well attended? My best example of this is women's health versus men's health. Women's health, will certainly get you in. So will men's health. It'll get you in. They want to hear about those topics certain times of the year. However, a women's health lecture tends to be better attended almost by double in my experience. You'll have double the people in the audience if it's a women's health lecture, because a lot of times men don't socially network and talk about their health and openly share as freely as you'll find a group of professional women. So in this short 5-minute video, I want to give you some things that will help you out. But most importantly, when you do your talks, give an action step. Close for growth. Do not give a business card. That's a procrastination card. And if you're good at presenting, you're good at talking, but not at driving new patients, then you're not good for your practice. In other words, you need to close for growth. If that's you, then join us for the Speak to Attract Believers workshop. Again, I do this exercise for an hour and teach you how to book things, where to book them, what you can do, the names, the categories, the names of the meetings, like really specific information. But that's 1 hour of a 2-day workshop. Most importantly, we give you the 7 pillars of how to do a talk. We teach you how to close for growth. And perhaps the most revolutionary thing we've done in the last year is teaching more chiropractic assistants, even chiropractic associate doctors, how to do the talks. So if you're the practice owner and you're adjusting, you can send your CA to go do a talk at a school because school gets out at 3 and that's when they do their staff meetings. Now you can send your CA while you're adjusting. Or if you have an associate, hey, while you're on vacation, like I just was in Hawaii and enjoying family time, my associate can do the talks. We can grow while I'm on vacation. And you've got to know your pre-educated, pre-qualified new patients from talks are much better than something like Facebook ads where you kind of get some tire kickers coming in. So Speak to Attract Believers, that's the workshop. This video is really just intended to show you that who before how is most important. And if you're asking for time at a meeting, then you need to know what meeting you're asking to be a part of. And I know that sounds a bit silly, but it's even sillier is that chiropractors are asking to speak and they don't know where they're asking to speak. Like they don't know what the existing meetings are. So then oftentimes it's interpreted as though they're supposed to set up a meeting just for you. Very egocentric, very much not the mindset when companies and businesses are short on resources, short on people wanting to come back to work. You've completely missed the mark. You have to ask to be a part of an existing meeting, and then most often what you'll be given is a short amount of time. The time frames that I'm also teaching at that Speak to Attract Believers workshop is how to do 10-minute talks. Now, when I invented this and I created this 15 years ago, I had a lot of critics within the profession saying, you're crazy, you can't do it, Brad's lost his mind, that's nuts. Now it's become commonplace, and I'm happy to tell you that's something I invented out of innovation. Necessity is the mother of innovation, and I needed to do it because I had a huge staff meeting for a school with hundreds of teachers, and we signed up well over 40 new patients. I had to be able to crunch my message. If you can learn to do 10-minute talks, then you can also ask to be a part, just 10 minutes, of an hour meeting. You can be a part of a realtor meeting. You can be a part of a staff meeting at a school. And then we can show you how to book more talks, more events. It gets exponential because it's an inverse law. The less time you need, the more places I can teach you to speak. And if nothing else, check out that Speak to Attract Believers workshop. It's not just great for docs that see themselves as a good presenter, but you need to close for action. It doesn't count if you don't create a new patient. Maybe even better still is I can show your associate to do a talk when you can't, or your CA. And believe me, the results are huge. So join us, but more importantly, apply this material. The name of the meeting, the less time you need, the better. Know the person you need to speak to. And above all, HR is overdone and overrun right now. So use some of those other job categories. Those are the yes people. Those aren't the no people. And again, I wanted this to be a shorter video, but packed with info where it didn't go 20 minutes long. So I'll cut it right here. If you got some positive feedback, please let me know. Try it out. But these things I know will help you out because I'm in practice and I only teach what's worked in my office. I only teach what's worked for other docs. And I've been sharing this information for years now. So I know it's going to work for you. Apply it and the results are always what gets me fired up. So circle back. If this has helped you out, I do appreciate it.